Hello students, how are you all? Keeping fine, no? Students, do we remember yesterday's class, our previous class, the poem Ballad of Tempest? Do you know the author of the poem? It is James T. Fields, James Thomas Fields, is an American poet. His father was a captain of the ship. He passed away when James, the author, was just 3 years old. Okay. Yesterday, in our previous class, we have learned 3 paras. Let us learn the next 3 paras. But before that, let me read the poem once again. You just close your eyes, just recall it. Okay? We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters, and a storm was on the deep. Tea is a fearful thing in winter, to be shattered by the blast, and to hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. So we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring, and the breakers talked with death. Okay. You all know yesterday, we were crowded in the cabin. That means the sailors were crowded in the cabin. And one more question I gave yesterday, not a soul would dare to sleep. Why was it so? It's because they were scared, because the situation was very bad. Tempest was blowing, and the ship is not in a proper position. It was shaking left to right. So if everyone was very cautious. They were not dare to sleep. Okay. Now see the 4th para now. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers. We are lost, the captain shouted, as we staggered down the stairs. As thus we sat in darkness. So yesterday you may be knowing, I told you they were all gathered in the cabin. Cabin is a special room, private room to sit in the ship. They were all gathered in the, we were all sat in the darkness. It means it's a midnight time. It was midnight, and they were praying. Each one busy with his prayers. They were all very busy, because that is only the way to pray with Almighty. It is each one busy with his prayers. We are lost, the captain shouted. In the whole poem, there are 2 statements by the captain. One is, we are lost. Another one is, cut away the mast. So both the word may be asked for the extract. Mostly in the, for the SSLC exam, last year also, this poem was asked for the extract. One sentence will be given to you, and based on that 3 questions will be asked to you. We have to write the answers for that. So understanding the poem is very important, so that we can write the answers. So those 2 statements, one is cut away the mast, and the second one is we are lost, are the statements made by the captain of the ship. We are lost, the captain shouted. What is the meaning of that? We are lost. That means he lost all hopes, because the ship or the boat is about to sink. Means it's in that position, because no hope The captain shouted, "We are lost," as he staggered down the stairs. Staggered. What is the meaning of staggered? Staggered means to come unsteadily. I mean, moving not steadily. It was in the ship, you might be knowing there are many compartments, upper deck, lower deck. So the ladders is there. So he was climbing down from the upper deck. So he was unsteadily walking. It means it's with the loss of hope. She was walking down. He said, as he staggered down the steps, has staggered down the stairs. Let me read once again, and you read after me. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers. We are lost, the captain shouted, as he staggered down the stairs. Oh, okay. Now read along with me. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers. We are lost, the captain shouted, as he staggered down the stairs. Okay, this, as I told you, we are lost. That sentence may be given for the extract. So what are the questions may be asked for that particular sentence? Maybe first was, who asked this question? Just write down. Or who made the statement? Okay. Now, who made the statement? Who asked this question? We are lost. Whose remark it was? The captain of the ships, his remark. Okay. The second one, why does the speaker say so? Why does the speaker say so? Because he has no hope. He has observed. The captain has to understand first. I mean, in the ship, he has to understand the position, the danger of the ship for the first time. I mean, he has the knowledge of the ship's condition. So the condition was not steady, not good. So we are about to lose. He said, we are lost. So the speaker said so. And the third one, what effect did it have? An impact on others. What effect did it have an impact on others? So he is the captain of the ship. If he lost hope, then automatically it will affect to everyone. Everyone is his follower. He is obeying his orders. So it affected hugely. I mean, everyone began to lose the hope. So this is the effect. It affected all the other sailors in the ship. Okay, move on to the next para. But his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" But his little daughter whispered as he took his icy hand. Who's the little daughter here? Little daughter means the daughter of the captain. She whispered, she said in a very soft voice, very short voice, she said, as he took his icy hand. What is icy hand? Icy hand, one may be the weather is very cold, the winter is the weather. So because of that, his hand may be very icy. The second one is, he has no hope, he has lost hope. So everything became cool. So that also may be the reason for his icy hand. When she touched her hand, it was very icy. She said, "Isn't God upon the ocean just same as on the land?" This statement made by the little girl, she's asked her father, the God is only one, no? Same God, He is protecting on the land, the same God is protecting on the ocean. She asked her this. That means God is there. We have to pray more. We have to pray more. He will listen. We have to patiently, we have to pray more. He will listen our prayer. He will survive. He gave the hope to them, others. So that it was the small hope, small effort. It resulted too much for the other sailors, so they all see what happened the next. So this question also may be asked for the extract. I'll read once, then you read after me. But his little daughter whispered as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" Okay. Next one. Then we kissed the little maiden, and we spake in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor when the moon was shining clear. Then we kissed the little maiden. We means who? All the sailors. Kissed the little maiden, the little girl. We kissed her because in such a position, so the position was very bad to say. Everyone was about to die. So there were no hope at all. In such situation, the little girl made a hope. We'll pray more. With the same God is helping. There is only one God. Maybe ocean, maybe land, air, everywhere. There is only one God. So we have to pray more. So He will yield our prayer. So by listening, by hearing her voice, her word, all the sailors kissed her, the little maiden, and we spake in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor. When the moon was shining clear, we spake in better cheer. Spake, it is the past tense of the speak. Past tense of the speak. And we spake in better cheer. We were all very excited, like we won the war, like we have reached safely to the harbor. Like, so, we have some kind of life. So everyone cheered. We speak in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor. Anchor. What is the meaning of anchor? Anchor has many meanings, like anchor word is using when we conduct any program, anchoring, controlling the program. But here the meaning is that it is a device. It is a device which is used in the shallow water to haul the ship or the boat in the harbor. Write down the meaning. Anchor, a metal device attached to a ship or boat and cast by a cable, cast overboard to hold it in a particular place. many of you may be knowing the anchor, like it is like this. This is the cable. This is the anchor, this is the cable, because with the cable they will put it down. It has to stay in the on the earth, land. If it is not touched the earth, what will happen? It will move like a pendulum. The ship may not be parked there. It will move like a pendulum. It will move here and there. It has no value. Putting anchor has no value. It has to. We have to see the depth, and then we have to see the cable. Then only we have to put the anchoring. This is just for reference for you. And we anchored safe in harbor. Anchored safe in. We have reached the harbor very safely. When the morning was shining clear, and that day morning slowly we have reached there, and that day morning was brighter than any other, because they have overcome with a lot of hurdles, very risky, life was threatening. So overcoming all these difficulties, they have reached the destination. So they were very happy. The sun was very bright, very clear, and they were all very happy. Okay, I'll read the poem, last para. Read after me. Then we kissed the little maiden, and we spake in better cheer, and we anchored safe in harbor when the morn was shining clear. Okay, let me read the whole poem once. Read along with me. We were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. It was midnight on the waters, and a storm was on the deep. Tea is a fearful thing in winter, to be shattered by the blast, and hear the rattling trumpet, thunder cut away the mast. So we shuddered there in silence, for the stoutest held his breath, while the hungry sea was roaring, and the breakers talked with death. As thus we sat in darkness, each one busy with his prayers. We are lost, the captain shouted, as he staggered down the stairs. But his little daughter whispered, as she took his icy hand, "Isn't God upon the ocean just the same as on the land?" Then we kissed the little maiden and spake in better cheer. So we have noted one sentence for the extract. So there are two more. There are many sentences in this poem, but let me talk about the two more. One is the first one, we were crowded in the cabin. Not a soul would dare to sleep. That also may be asked for you to write a sentence will be given, questions will be given to you, you have to write the answers for that. So what may be the first question could be asked for this particular sentence? You underline the line, we were crowded in the cabin, not a soul would dare to sleep. The first question, what is fearful thing in winter? What is fearful thing in winter? The tempest. The tempest is the fearful thing in the winter. Okay. The second one, where did the fearful thing appear? Where did the fearful thing appear? Where? Middle of the sea. Middle of the mostly in the winter season. Mostly in the winter season. And the third one, how does it affect the sailors? Sailors. How does it affect the sailors? Because physically, emotionally, they will be very tired. They have no hope. They have very difficult time physically and emotionally. It affects them so much on the sailors. The second sentence may be asked for the extract is, the second para you see the first line, tea is a fearful thing in winter. excuse me, we were crowded in the cabin. For that, these are the questions. Who were crowded in the cabin? Who were crowded in the cabin? All the sailors and everyone. Why were they crowded? They were crowded because there was a tempest. Tempest is shaking the ship and their position was in a dangerous position. Why did none of them dare to sleep? Because the impending storm is blowing, so at any time anything may happen. So they were not dare to sleep. But okay, the next para, tea is a fearful thing in winter. For that statement, earlier I gave the question that could be asked, like, what is fearful thing in winter? Where did the fearful thing appear? How does it affect the sailors? Okay. One more thing we have to observe, there are 4 figures of speech the poet used in this poem. The one is not a soul, second line, not a soul would dare to sleep. By telling a part of the part or in one individual, telling about the whole, that figure of speech is called a synecdoche. Yesterday I underlined it, noted it, not a soul would dare to sleep, the figure of speech is synecdoche. And in the second para, third line, rattling trumpet, there the particular spelling is repeating, like rattling, there are 2 T, and trumpet, there are 2 T there. So rattling trumpet, that is alliteration. Yesterday you have learned that, alliteration. Okay. And the third para, the hungry sea. Hungry sea. Usually sea is not hungry because human qualities compared to the sea. So that is personification, comparing human to the other than human. It's called personification, hungry sea. And shuddered in silence, that is everyone gathered, shuddered, they were shaking. There's imagery of fear. So students, you have learned this poem. This is this poem may be asked for the memorization. 4 marks will be there. And sometimes last year this poem is asked for the extract, 3 marks question. And sometimes they may ask for the figure of speech. So this poem is very important. So any one questions will be asked. So study it properly. By heart the poem. Good luck. All the best.